most of your Walt Disney World vacation.
The top 6 nature experiences at Disney World. Hi, I'm Herb Leibacher, and welcome to episode number 128 of the World of Walt podcast. Make the most of your Walt Disney World vacation for the week of October 22nd, 2017. This is the podcast for Walt Disney World fans, whether you're planning your next trip or just enjoy reliving a little bit of Disney magic. When you're standing in the Magic Kingdom hub or the Epcot parking lot surrounded by concrete and man-made structures, it can be easy to forget that Walt Disney World offers plenty of nature experiences, chances to enjoy the outdoors and the creatures of our world. Today we're going to take a look at the top 6 nature experiences at Walt Disney World. To help me explore this topic, I'd like to welcome a former Disney Imagineer and lover of all things natural, Brian Collins. Brian, welcome back.
Well, I thought you were going to, introduce me as one of the creatures roaming around. So,
I guess we're all creatures in a sense. So,
and it's appropriate. You know, we're doing this. You can probably hear some noise in the background. We're out here at the new land of Pandora in the Animal Kingdom, and I think that's a great place to do a podcast and discussion about nature at Disney.
It is nature from a different world, but still nature and still very interesting. And we have air conditioning here at the Satuli Canteen, which is very nice.
And chocolate.
And chocolate. Two things that make life good.
Yeah.
So before we get into the topic for today, the warm-up question for you, Brian, favorite menu item at the 50s Primetime Cafe?
Well, that's one I don't even have to think about, the pot roast.
Pot roast, so tell me about it.
To me, I think the pot roast dinner that you get at Primetime Cafe is probably one of the best dinners you can get on property, let alone at the studios. It's always done just right, really tender. You know, got some potatoes in there, some carrots in there, a little gravy, some mashed potatoes on the side maybe. It's wonderful.
I agree. I've rediscovered the joys of pot roast recently. It's a good thing.
Yeah. It's
hard to pick just one item for me. It's always hard for me to pick a favorite of anything, but I really like the meatloaf at the 50s Primetime Cafe. I'm a huge meatloaf fan. That just screams mom and America, so that's a good choice too.
Yeah, vegetarians cover your ears because probably not the place for you, but if you're a carnivore like me
too.
That's your place.
Yep. Okay, so today, top 6 nature experiences at Disney World, and Brian, number 1 is over to you.
Top 6. I would say number 1 on that list is something that's really kind of unique and different, and that would be the opportunity to actually go scuba diving in the living seas. And I'm not sure if a lot of people know about that or not, but the living seas is one of the largest, if not the largest, enclosed aquariums in the United States. It's humongous. I've heard a rumor that you can actually submerge Spaceship Earth in that aquarium, which Spaceship Earth, as you know, is pretty huge. So it's humongous. And if you want to, you can make arrangements pre-arrangements for a fee, of course, but you can go scuba diving inside the living seas, and I've seen people do it. I'm not a scuba diver. I love to snorkel. I'm not a scuba diver, but I've heard it's just an amazing experience. All kinds of underwater sea life that you probably can't see in many parts of the world.
I overheard some people, I promise I wasn't eavesdropping, but I overheard some people who had gone on this experience, and they were talking about how they had to bring their scuba certification to be able to get in, but how much they had enjoyed seeing everything and what a first class and amazing experience it would be. So probably something very special to do if you've got a scuba certification.
Yeah, and from what I understand, I don't think it's as incredibly cost prohibitive inexpensive as you think. From what I understand, it's a pretty reasonable fee that they charge to do it. So if you're a scuba diver, I definitely would look into that one.
Yep, I agree. That's a good one. Okay, number 1, scuba diving. Number 2 is over to me. So I think this one has to be on the list, and it would be seeing the animals up close and personal, either with 50 of your closest friends at Kilimanjaro Safaris, or on the Wild Africa Trek if you are able to pay for a premium experience. So the Kilimanjaro Safari is sort of the centerpiece of Disney's Animal Kingdom. New experience every time. Great way to see all kinds of interesting animals. I was on it just a few days ago, and we got stuck in a giraffe traffic jam. We were just sort of stuck until the giraffe decided that he wanted to move out of the way. But the lions were out. We saw lots of zebra. And also, you can sometimes catch a view of people who are on the Africa Wild Trek extra paid experience. So they're walking over a rope bridge, or they're suspended over alligators, or whatever crazy things that they do.
Right.
And I think it's fun that you can see them, and I think it's good advertising for Disney that people all through our safari vehicle were saying, hey, what are those people doing over there? So it's a great way to see animals, whether just in the normal safari experience or in a special behind-the-scenes Wild Africa Trek tour.
Well, very cool. Yeah, I've been on that safari tour a couple times, and it is a very cool, special thing. I mean, back in the day, if you said that you saw giraffes or hippos or anything like that at Disney, you would think right away about the Jungle Cruise, animatronics, but these are not animatronics. These are the real deal, and they've done an amazing job in putting them in their environment out there.
Yeah, they really have. They get to sort of wander around and be free, and you still get close-up views, it's amazing.
Yep.
Okay, that was number 2. So number 3, nature experiences, back to you.
So number 3 is kind of like the poor man's version of what we just talked about. If you're not going to the animal kingdom, but you still want to see some pretty cool African animals or wild animals, go out to Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and you can walk out back of the lodge, and they actually have a viewing area that looks out onto a large plain, like the Serengeti, right?
Yep.
And you can see zebras and wildebeests and all kinds of giraffes, all kinds of cool animals out there. It's a great way if you've got some time to kill, and especially if you've got kids. Disney resorts are unlike any other resorts in the world. We talk all the time about the theme parks, but if you haven't spent time checking out the different resorts, you really need to do that when you're here. And the Animal Lodge or the Wilderness Lodge is very, very special because of that animal viewing area they have. So,
yeah, this is a great tip. So Wilderness Lodge is a beautiful facility, and if you've got a day where you don't want to spend park admission, it's a fun resort to go around just in seeing the architecture and checking out the shops and the restaurants. But also the fact that you can see some animals. You don't have to pay for that. You can just walk back. And I think Disney does a good job of setting up their environments and maybe feeding them in the right places so they're within eye shot. So you're very likely to be able to see something when you go.
Okay, cool.
All right, that was number 3. So number 4. So this is one that I don't hear a lot of people speaking about. It may not be for everyone, but I think it's interesting that it is available. So it is possible to go on a fishing expedition on the Seven Seas Lagoon.
That's correct.
It's catch and release, I believe. You can't take your catch back and have it fried up. But you can go fishing. I've seen people on boats actually parked right up against the Magic Kingdom fishing. So I think if there is a fisherman in your life who maybe isn't so excited about going to Disney World, this would be a great way to encourage them to come along and give them something they want to do too, and really see and experience Disney in a brand new way.
Right. There's also fishing out at Fort Wilderness. I believe you can either rent poles, or if you have your own, you can fish in the rivers out there and stuff.
You're right.
But the Seven Seas Lagoon thing is pretty cool. They actually have world-class anglers out there who run the operation and will take you out on the boats and show you. Even if you've never fished before, they'll teach you how. And if you are an avid fisherman, all the better, because you know where to catch that line and find the big guys. But I've heard just really good things about it.
Yeah, me too. Good way to see Disney from a new perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, that was number 4. Brian, number 5. Back over to you.
So number 5. So speaking about Fort Wilderness, let's go back there. Again, something that I'm not sure if a lot of people know about, but there's actually a pretty nice petting zoo out at Fort Wilderness. And it's really kind of a nice little area. You can go out there, walk around, and see little goats and small ponies and chickens and little animals that you would expect to see at at a petting farm. The other thing that's really cool out there is that within walking distance of that little petting farm, they actually have the barn where they keep Disney's show horses, the horses that pull the calliope and the different Main Street vehicles and stuff, and those are some really impressive animals, big like Clydesdales. I mean, just gorgeous horses, very well groomed, and so that's kind of like within easy walking distance. Back at the petting zoo, they actually have little ponies that I'm pretty sure you can still get a pony ride for your kid out there, and put them up there. And I know when my kids were all young, that was something we would do, is go out there and just kind of hang out and let them take a little pony ride around the little petting zoo. It was fun.
Yeah, this is really a hidden gem, the Tri-Circle D Ranch, and a chance to see the horses. There's some fascinating pictures inside that barn of Walt and his love of horses. There's the calliope is stored there, and those horses are just huge and amazing animals. And oftentimes they'll kind of stick their head out. I don't know that you're necessarily supposed to pet them or touch them, but they'll stick their nose out sometimes. Sometimes they're hanging back and they're just relaxing. It's their time off of work. But sometimes they'll stick their nose out. It's just amazing to see the animals there.
Well, I think you can pay like 25 cents and get like a handful of grain or something to toss into the the pigs or the chickens or horses or whatever. And so, I mean, kids love it.
Yeah. So. And that's free. There's no charge to go there.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I think, our first item was not free, but some of these items are. So that makes it kind of fun.
Yeah.
Fishing's not free either. Okay, so last one. It's actually pretty similar to, Brian, your number 5. It's a chance to interact with animals, but this time inside Disney's Animal Kingdom at Rafiki's Planet Watch. I think Rafiki's Planet Watch is one of those spots that's easy to overlook. You have to take a train to get back there, a very interesting train where you're sort of face sideways instead of front. So, even if you're not so interested in what you're going to see at Rafiki's Planet Watch, the train ride itself is worth the trip. But once you get back there, you can see the veterinary station where the professionals take care of the animals. Sometimes they're operating on the animals. There are sometimes some close-up encounters where a cast member will have a bird or something else, which you can see up close and touch. There's a petting zoo there as well. And I think Disney's done an especially good job with that petting zoo, because in this one, you're not allowed to feed the animals. And because of that, they don't charge you when you come in, because they're associating people and food. So you can go and pet the goats and the pigs, and they're sort of calm and not going to go up and think everybody is food. So it's a really nice petting zoo to check out.
Well, and I got to tell you, that's one area I have never been to. I've never seen or experienced. So I definitely am going to go check that out. And I remember putting on our retro Disney hats here. Do you remember Discovery Island? So this is going way back.
Yeah.
But in the middle of Seven Seas Lagoon, between the Contemporary and the Polynesian out there was a island that you could take a launch out to, and it was a little nature preserve, and you could walk around Discovery Island, and I remember they had parrots. You could put them on your shoulder and get the picture, and during shows and stuff. And they closed that years and years and years ago. But you can still Google it and find pictures, and so it was a very fun, cool little hidden thing to do at Disney.
Yeah.
So
I often wonder if there are plans in a closet somewhere of what could become of Discovery Island in the future.
Yeah.
I know it's not a very big place. I heard once a rumor that maybe it could be a honeymooner's island, or maybe a special paid experience. And I understand why they shut it down with the opening of Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Sure.
It's just doing the same thing on a much grander scale.
Sure.
But it's a fun part of Disney history.
Yeah. I think there are actually pictures out there of what it looks like now as it's abandoned, and it's kind of creepy and all that. But that was a very neat attraction. Yeah. So animals have definitely always been a big part of the Disney experience, and
you're right.
It's kind of fun to see how they continue to kind of use that tradition out here at the parks.
You are right. I think Disney and nature really go together, and here at the Pandora is, I think, the latest rendition of that, and fun and exciting to see.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
list.
Yep, top 6 nature experiences at Disney World. So number 1, scuba diving in the living seas. Number 2, seeing animals up close at Kilimanjaro safaris or Wild Africa Trek. Number 3, viewing the animals at Wilderness Lodge. Number 4, fishing on the Seven Seas Lagoon, catch and release only. Number 5, the petting zoo at Fort Wilderness. And number 6, Rafiki's Planet Watch. So, Brian, always as fun, or as always, it's fun to sit down and chat all things Disney with you. If people are interested in finding out what you're up to, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, I'd love to have them come visit my website, which is wdwithme.com. They can follow me on Twitter at wdwithmebrian. So please follow me. I always try and put some different kinds of posts out there, always from that Imagineering point of view. You can go to my website now, and I'm very excited to announce just recently I added the feature where you can actually search and book I offer a not behind the scenes, but I guess a stroll through the Magic Kingdom or through Epcot's World Showcase from an Imagineer's point of view. And you can now book those strolls and dine with a former Imagineer experience right on my website. So shameless plug for that, but check out wdwithme.com. I've got some blogs on there and other podcast appearances. Not as good as yours, of course, but
of course.
yeah, that's it. And people can always just email me, Brian at wdwithme.com. I love to get emails and hear from you all out there too. So
I've got to say, as someone who's had a chance to wander around the Disney parks with Brian, I always learn something new, and it's always a lot of fun. So I'd encourage people to check that out. Brian is you're a Twitter machine. Always all kinds of fun things on Brian's Twitter machine.
You can see my have-eaten dessert from today. It's very impressive stuff.
and fun. Okay, Brian, as always, thank you very much for joining me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Today we head out to some of the music that you might hear at the boat dock at Disney's Fort Wilderness, and we have made it through the list of the top 6 nature experiences at Disney World. However, our conversation doesn't need to be over. I'd like to hear what you think. If you'd like to add to the list, you can do that by visiting the show notes page at worldofwalt.com/128. That page will work well on your desktop, tablet, and smartphone. Leave your comment in the comments section and check out what other people think as well. I'd like to thank everyone who's been in touch with me, and I'd like to invite you to follow me on social media, facebook.com/worldofwalt and pinterest.com/worldofwalt. If you like today's podcast, I would appreciate it if you would spread the word. Tell your family and your friends about it. To wrap up for today, as always, a heartfelt thank you for spending some of your time with me. I'd also like to thank everyone who visits the worldofwalt.com site, where you can read interesting Disney articles and chat with other people who like Disney in the comments sections. By listening here and by visiting the site, you allow me to share the fun of Disney with you, and that is very cool. Thank you for being a part of it. So until next time, my friend, may God bless you.
So there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day.